Okay, welcome back to summary part 2. So, summarizing fiction, a story, is different than summarizing an informational text. It's not so important to have the who, what, where, when, why. A story is organized differently, and almost every story has 4 things. There's usually a somebody, they want something, but there's a problem getting it. So, how does it end? And this is a great way to summarize a story. So, if it can be a short story, it could be a novel that you're reading, a whole book. But this is a really great way. Any kind of narrative, really, it would be a narrative. And I think in your writing classes, you may have had to write a narrative paragraph, where you just tell a story, a beginning, a middle, and end. So this is my somebody wanted but so chart. And I can tell you that I have helped so many people with this, including myself. I am also guilty of trying to write too many details. And I learned this idea in graduate school, getting my master's degree. And as soon as I learned it, I thought, why didn't someone teach it to me? So this is a strategy to help you organize your thoughts and details for a summary, for fiction, or for a narrative. We're going to do the same thing again, what we did with the nonfiction or the informational reading. I'm going to read this, and with this, we can just kind of listen. We don't have to do a whole lot, just kind of be thinking, somebody wanted but so. And when we're done, we'll take notes on it, okay? So here's our reading. It's called College Talk. It seemed to come on like the flu. Suddenly, out of nowhere, everyone was talking about college. Lunchtime discussions changed from who's dating whom into who's going to what college and who did or did not get accepted. And just like the flu leaves its victims feeling awful and helpless, such was the case for this new fascinating subject and me. I don't clearly remember the actual conversations. I do, however, remember why I wasn't interested in all this college talk. We didn't have enough money for me to go to a real college. I would begin my college years at a junior college, which is like Henry Ford, a community college. This was the final word, and I had accepted it. I didn't even mind terribly. I just wished everyone would stop talking about this university and that Ivy League school. The truth is, I was jealous. I had worked so hard to get good grades in school, and for what? Each time I found out someone else I knew had just been accepted to the college of their dreams, I would turn a deeper shade of green. I didn't like feeling this way, but I couldn't help it. It felt like they were going to jump ahead of me. They were going to have the big life experiences that turned a teenager into an adult, and I was going to get left behind. My boyfriend was very sweet and barely mentioned it. Every time an envelope arrived for him with a, "Congratulations, you've been accepted to yet another college of your choice." I knew about them only because his parents lacked the sensitivity with which he was so blessed. He always shrugged it off and would tell me, "You would have had the same response. Watch, you'll get a full scholarship to the college of your choice in 2 years, and you can laugh at us all for foolishly killing ourselves to arrive at the same place." He had a point. I just thought it was awfully sweet of him to make sure I saw it this way. My friends and I kept in touch those first few months, and more often than not, I was the one offering words of support and understanding. They spoke of roommates from hell, classes they couldn't get into, and the ones they did being so big they couldn't even see their professor. Not only could I see mine, but one of my favorites invited us to his house on the lake. We would go there for class and stay hours afterwards, talking and sharing our theories on human behavior. It was because of this class that I decided to major in psychology. Needless to say, my tortured thoughts of being left behind while they went out and gathered the life experiences in huge doses changed to thoughts of counting my blessings. I was getting a fine serving of life experience. I was letting go of friends and my first true love. I was moving into a humble abode that, for the first time in my life, I could call my own. And I was taking a full load of classes by choice, not requirement. As time passed and I grew more and more comfortable with my circumstances, I was also able to understand something I hadn't when I was angry and envious. Real life will be filled with moments of friends making more and loved ones being promoted first. When these things happen, I know I will be prepared. I have already had a taste of this experience, and I passed it quite nicely. So that was college talk. Now there's a little lesson in this, so you could summarize it by, she learned this life lesson. Or we could kind of come back to this chart and just fill it out. So maybe again, take a second to pause the video and add your own answers in. Who is the somebody in this? What did she want? But what was the problem? Because again, a story never says somebody wanted so, right? There's always a problem. If you just want something and then you get it, it's not much of a story. So she wanted something, but what was the problem? So how did it turn out? Take a minute or two and jot down some answers and then unpause and we'll go through some answers together. Okay, we don't really ever learn her name. There is a title a name at the bottom, which Kimberly. So you could say the girl, or we'll just put Kim, because we do see her name there. So Kim. Kim's our somebody. What did she want? Most of my classes have done pretty well by coming up with what did she want? She wanted to go to a real college or go to university. So wanted to go to a university. Okay, but what was the problem? Why couldn't she go? Right, it wasn't that her grades weren't good enough. The problem was she didn't have enough money, right? I can do the money sign, right? She didn't have enough money. So how did it end? Did she give up on her dreams? Did she stay home and work? How does this get resolved? Well, and you can have more than one. We're going to have two here. She went to a junior college, which I said, it's like a community college. And she had a good experience, right? Or she learned some valuable lessons and learned many lessons. Maybe something like that. I don't know. We don't have to necessarily have the lessons. Again, this is not about being perfect and having the exact same answer as somebody else. But now here's the magic trick. So this wasn't that hard, I'm hoping for you. Like after you read, maybe you weren't sure exactly what to put here, but hopefully these first things were probably pretty easy. Right off the top of your head, you knew what to put down here. So watch the magic trick. I always joke in class, this is why I felt, why didn't someone show me this? So I want to write a summary sentence about the story. Here I go. Kim wanted to go to a university, but she didn't have enough money, so she went to a junior college and had many good experiences and learned valuable lessons. I can just make that a complete sentence, right? Kim wanted, so I'm just bringing my wanted down into a sentence, to go to a university. Come on. But she didn't have enough money, so she went to a junior college and had a good experience. And I'm just going to leave it at that for now. Again, you learn valuable lessons. You could add that too. But there you go. That's the summary, right? It's a very short story, right? This is how long it is. If you have a story this long, you shouldn't have 2 paragraphs of summary. The story is only 3 paragraphs long, right? A summary sentence is good. And this works for a longer piece too, because you could add, maybe there's more than one person that you want to talk about. Like with Thank You, Ma'am, you could talk about Roger and Mrs. Jones. Maybe the person wants more than one thing, or maybe there's more than one problem. So this could easily turn into a summary paragraph and not just a sentence by adding some more details from a longer story. But again, this is a way to help you keep your information organized, keep it somewhat limited so you don't put too many details into your summary. So again, 2 strategies: the who, what, where, when, why, and how for informational reading, and for narrative or fiction, Somebody Wanted But So. They're just 2 good tools. It doesn't give you the answers. It just helps you organize your answers and keeps you focused, so your brain doesn't kind of wander everywhere when you're trying to write a summary. So we're going to try both of these online, and you're going to do 2 different readings and try them, and I'm going to give you feedback and see how you did next week. Okay? Great.